The starship Horizon drifted silently through the vast expanse of space, its sleek hull gleaming in the light of a distant star. Captain Evelyn Reyes stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic display before her. The ship's sensors had detected an anomaly in a nearby system, and Reyes was determined to investigate. "Status report, Lieutenant Kang," she commanded, her voice calm but authoritative. Lieutenant Sarah Kang, the ship's science officer, tapped at her console. "Sensors are picking up a distress signal, Captain. It's unlike anything we've encountered before." Reyes raised an eyebrow. "Alien?" Kang nodded, her expression a mix of excitement and apprehension. "Most likely. The signal's encryption is far more advanced than our own." "Plot a course, helmsman," Reyes ordered. "Let's see what we're dealing with." As the Horizon approached the source of the signal, the crew's anticipation grew. Humanity had long wondered if they were alone in the universe, and now, on the fringes of explored space, they might finally have their answer. The ship dropped out of FTL, and a collective gasp filled the bridge. Before them lay a massive vessel, easily 10 times the size of the Horizon. Its design was otherworldly, with smooth organic curves and a shimmering, translucent hull that seemed to pulse with an inner light. "Life signs?" Reyes asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Cam's fingers flew over her console. "Affirmative, Captain. Thousands of them. But they're fluctuating. Something's wrong." Suddenly, the alien ship's exterior flickered, revealing glimpses of a pitched battle raging within. Strange, shadowy figures darted across the hull, pursued by beams of energy that left scorch marks in their wake. "They're under attack," Reyes realized. She turned to her communications officer. "Hail them. Let them know we're here to help." For several tense moments, there was no response. Then, without warning, a holographic image materialized on the bridge. It showed a tall, slender being with iridescent skin and large, multifaceted eyes. When it spoke, its voice resonated with a haunting, musical quality that the ship's universal translator struggled to interpret. "Greetings, unknown vessel. I am Xerex, overseer of the Lumina. We are in grave danger." Reyes stepped forward, her posture straight and confident. "I'm Captain Evelyn Reyes of the Earth ship Horizon. We picked up your distress call. How can we assist?" Xerex's eyes shimmered with what might have been relief. "Our ship has been infiltrated by a parasitic life form we encountered on a distant world. It consumes energy, both technological and biological. We've managed to contain it to the lower decks, but our defenses are failing. If it reaches our central core, all will be lost." Reyes exchanged glances with her senior staff. They had come seeking new scientific discoveries, not to engage in an interstellar rescue mission. But the choice was clear. "We'll help in any way we can," Reyes declared. "What do you need from us?" Xerex's form rippled, a gesture that might have been gratitude. "Our weapons are ineffective against the parasite, but perhaps your technology, being different from our own, might have an effect. We need a small team to board our vessel and deploy a weapon directly at the parasite's core." Lieutenant Commander Jack Harper, the ship's tactical officer, stepped forward. "Captain, with all due respect, we have no idea what we're dealing with here. It could be a trap." Reyes considered his words carefully. The risk was undeniable, but so was the potential reward. First contact with an advanced alien species, and the chance to save them from extinction. "Noted, Commander," she said finally. "But we can't stand by and do nothing. Prepare a team for boarding. Full hazard gear and our most advanced weaponry." As her crew scrambled to prepare, Reyes turned back to Xerex's hologram. "We're on our way. Hold on just a little longer." The alien's multifaceted eyes seemed to bore into her soul. "Thank you, Captain Reyes. May the stars guide your path." As the communication ended, Reyes felt the weight of her decision settle upon her shoulders. She was about to lead her crew into unknown danger, risking their lives for a species they had just met. But deep down, she knew it was the right choice. This was why they had ventured into the depths of space, to explore, to discover, and to extend a helping hand to those in need, no matter how alien they might be. Little did she know that this encounter would not only change the fate of the Lumina, but would also unlock hidden potential within humanity itself, potential that would reshape the galaxy in ways no one could have imagined. The Horizon's shuttle bay doors slid open, revealing the vastness of space. Captain Reyes stood at the helm of the small craft, her hands steady on the controls. Beside her, Lieutenant Kang monitored the alien ship's energy readings, while Commander Harper checked his weapon for the 10th time. "Remember," Reyes said to her team, "we're here to help, but stay alert. We don't know what we're walking into." The shuttle glided towards the Lumina, its massive form dwarfing their tiny craft. As they approached, a section of the alien ship's hull shimmered and parted, revealing an entrance. Reyes guided the shuttle inside, landing in what appeared to be a cavernous docking bay. As the team disembarked, they were met by a group of Lumina. Up close, the aliens were even more striking. Their iridescent skin seemed to ripple with colors, and their movements were fluid and graceful. Zorex stepped forward, bowing slightly. "Welcome aboard the Lumina," the alien said, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. "We are grateful for your aid, though I fear you may have underestimated the danger." As if on cue, a distant explosion rocked the ship. Zarik's eyes flickered with alarm. "The parasite has breached another containment field. We must hurry." Reyes nodded to her team, and they fell in line behind the Lumina as they hurried through winding corridors. The ship's interior was a marvel of bioorganic technology, with pulsing light conduits and surfaces that seemed alive. As they descended deeper into the ship, signs of the parasitic invasion became evident. Scorch marks marred the walls, and occasionally they passed Lumina tending to injured comrades. "What exactly are we dealing with?" Harper asked, his hand never far from his weapon. Zyrex's voice was grim. "We call it the Void Eater. It consumes energy in all forms, growing stronger with each feeding. Our weapons, based on energy projection, only serve to nourish it." Kang's eyes widened. "That's why you think our technology might work. You're hoping our projectile weapons will be effective." The alien nodded. "It is our last hope." They reached a heavily fortified door, beyond which lay the engineering section. Zorex placed a hand on the door, and it pulsed with light before sliding open. The scene inside was chaos. Lumen engineers worked frantically at control panels, while others formed a defensive line against a roiling mass of darkness that seemed to devour light itself. It was the Void Eater, and it was advancing. By the stars, Reyes breathed, momentarily stunned by the sight. Harper was the first to snap into action. He raised his rifle and fired a burst into the writhing mass. The rounds tore through the creature, and for a moment it recoiled. "It worked," Zyrex exclaimed, but their jubilation was short-lived. The holes in the creature's form quickly closed, and it surged forward with renewed vigor. "Fall back," Reyes ordered, realizing their weapons weren't enough. They retreated behind the defensive line, minds racing for a solution. Kang was furiously analyzing data on her handheld scanner. "Captain, I think I understand. The parasite isn't just consuming energy, it's converting matter into energy to sustain itself. Our weapons are damaging it, but not faster than it can regenerate." Reyes frowned, watching as the Lumina's energy barriers flickered against the advancing darkness. "We need to overwhelm it somehow, overload its ability to process energy." A glimmer of an idea formed in her mind. It was risky, potentially suicidal, but it might be their only chance. She turned to Z-Rex. "Your ship's core, what powers it?" "It contains singularity," the alien replied. "But its energy output is what's attracting the Void Eater. If it reaches the core—" "We don't let it reach the core," Reyes interrupted. "We bring the core to it." Understanding dawned in Zolrex's multifaceted eyes. "You propose to overload the parasite with the core's energy, but the risk." is better than certain destruction, Reyes finished. She turned to her team. Harper, you and I will draw its attention. Kang, work with the Lumina engineers. Figure out how to safely extract and transport a portion of the core's energy. As the humans and Lumina rushed to enact their desperate plan, Reyes couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Here they were, two species from opposite ends of the galaxy, working together against a common threat. It was more than first contact, it was the forging of an alliance in the crucible of crisis. The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. Harper and Reyes led a series of hit-and-run attacks on the Void Eater, keeping it distracted and preventing it from advancing further. Meanwhile, Kang and the Lumina engineers worked miracles, jury-rigging a device to harness the awesome power of the ship's core. Finally, everything was in place. Reyes stood before the roiling mass of the Void Eater, the makeshift energy projector humming in her hands. Behind her, Lumina and humans alike watched with bated breath. "Here goes nothing," she muttered and activated the device. A blinding stream of pure energy erupted from the projector, engulfing the Void Eater. The creature writhed and expanded, desperately trying to absorb the overwhelming influx of power. For a moment, it seemed to be working. The parasite grew to monstrous proportions. But then, with a silent scream that reverberated through their minds, the Void Eater began to collapse in on itself. Its form twisted and contorted, unable to process the sheer amount of energy being forced into it. With a final, reality-bending implosion, the Void Eater vanished, leaving behind nothing but a faint shimmer in the air. Silence fell over the engineering bay, broken only by the hum of machinery. Then, slowly, a cheer began to build. Lumina embraced one another, their skin flashing with colors of joy and relief. The humans found themselves swept up in the celebration, differences forgotten in the wake of their shared victory. As the euphoria of survival washed over them, Reyes met Zyrex's gaze. In that moment, she knew that this was only the beginning. Humanity had not only made first contact, but had proven themselves as worthy allies in the face of cosmic threats. The universe, it seemed, was about to get a whole lot bigger, and humanity was ready to face whatever challenges it might bring. In the days following the defeat of the Void Eater, the Horizon and the Lumina found themselves in an unprecedented situation of cooperation and cultural exchange. Captain Reyes had extended an invitation for a delegation of Lumina to board the Horizon, while some of her crew remained on the alien vessel to assist with repairs and study their advanced technology. Lieutenant Sura Kang found herself in what could only be described as an alien laboratory, surrounded by equipment that seemed to defy the laws of physics as she understood them. Her Lumina counterpart, a scientist named Elorix, moved gracefully around the room, manipulating holographic displays with mere gestures. "Your species' adaptability is remarkable," Elorix commented, its multifaceted eyes gleaming with curiosity. "You've grasped concepts in days that took our ancestors centuries to develop." Kang smiled, both proud and humbled. "We're quick learners, but your technology it's like nothing we've ever seen. Especially your ability to manipulate energy on a fundamental level." Elorix's skin rippled with what Kang had come to recognize as amusement. "Perhaps it's not so different from your own abilities, only more refined." Before Kang could ask what the alien meant, an alarm blared through the ship. Elorix's colors shifted to a worried hue. "The parasitic residue, it's becoming active again." They rushed to a nearby console, where a holographic display showed pockets of dark energy coalescing throughout the lower decks of the Lumina. The Void Eater might have been destroyed, but it had left behind traces of itself, traces that were now reawakening. "We need to contain it," Kang said, her mind racing. "But how? Our previous method nearly destroyed the ship." Elorix's form wavered with distress. "Our energy-based containment fields won't hold it. We need a new solution quickly." Kang felt a strange sensation building within her, a tingling that started in her fingertips and spread through her body. Without fully understanding why, she reached out towards the holographic display. To her shock, and Elorix's visible astonishment, the energy readings on the display began to fluctuate. As Kang focused her mind, visualizing a barrier around the parasitic energy, the readings stabilized. Impossible, Elorix breathed. You're manipulating the energy fields without any technology. How? Kang shook her head, as bewildered as the alien. I don't know. I just felt that I could do it somehow. The alien scientist's colors shifted rapidly, a sign of intense excitement. This is unprecedented. Quick, we must inform the others and utilize its new ability. Within minutes, Captain Reyes and the rest of the human crew had been alerted. They gathered in the Lumina's control center, where Kang demonstrated her newfound ability to manipulate energy fields directly. It's as if the exposure to the Void Eater and the Luminous technology has awakened something within us. Reyes mused, watching as Kang contained another pocket of parasitic energy. Commander Harper frowned. But why only Kang? Why not the rest of us? As if in answer to his question, one of the junior officers, Ensign Maya Rodriguez, stepped forward. Sir, I think I can do it too. She closed her eyes in concentration, and a nearby console lit up, its energy readings spiking. One by one, other human crew members discovered similar abilities. Some could manipulate energy fields, others could interface directly with the luminous bio-organic technology, and a few even showed signs of telepathic communication with the aliens. Zurex, who had been observing silently, finally spoke. This is extraordinary. It seems that your species possesses latent abilities that our presence and technology have somehow activated. Reyes looked at her crew with a mixture of pride and concern. This changes everything. The potential applications of these abilities, they could revolutionize our technology, our understanding of the universe. And your role in the galaxy, Zyrex added. You must understand, Captain, that such abilities are rare among spacefaring races. This discovery will undoubtedly attract attention, not all of it welcome. The implications hung heavy in the air. Humanity had just taken its first steps into a larger galactic community, and now they had inadvertently revealed a power that could shift the balance of that community. We need to proceed carefully, Ray said, her voice firm. Our priority now is containing the parasitic energy and repairing the Lumina. Then we need to understand these new abilities and their source. Kang nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. Captain, with your permission, I'd like to work with Elorix to study this phenomenon. If we can understand it, we might be able to control and develop it. Granted, Reyes replied. But remember, this stays between us for now. Until we know more, we can't risk this information falling into the wrong hands. As the human crew and their Lumina allies set to work, there was a palpable sense of excitement and trepidation. They stood on the brink of a new era, one where the boundaries between biology and technology, between different species, were blurring. Little did they know that light years away, other forces had already detected the surge of unfamiliar energy. Forces that would soon set in motion events that would challenge humanity's newfound abilities and their place in the galactic order in ways they could never have imagined. The universe, it seemed, was about to become a much more complex and dangerous place. But for the first time, humanity felt ready to face those dangers head-on, with abilities they were only beginning to understand and allies they never knew they had. The Horizon and the Lumina had been working in tandem for weeks, their crews growing closer as they explored the humans' newfound abilities and repaired the damage caused by the Void Eater. Captain Reyes stood on the bridge of her ship, watching as a team of human engineers, their hands glowing with ethereal energy, worked alongside Lumina technicians to upgrade the Horizon's systems. Suddenly, the ship's sensors blared to life. Lieutenant Kang, her eyes wide with alarm, called out, "Captain, multiple vessels dropping out of FTL. They're like nothing we've ever seen before." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a terrifying sight. A fleet of biomechanical ships, their hulls writhing with tendrils of dark energy, emerged from the void of space. At their center was a massive vessel that seemed to devour the very light around it. By the stars, Zyrex breathed, its form shimmering with fear. The harvesters. They found us. Reyes turned to the alien overseer. Harvesters? Who are they? Zyrex's voice was grim. A race of conquerors who seek out and absorb advanced technologies and unique biological traits. They must have detected the energy surge from your awakened abilities. Before Reyes could respond, a booming voice echoed through both ships' communication systems. Attention, vessels of unknown origin. We are the harvesters. Your unique energy signatures have been detected. Prepare to be boarded and assimilated. Resistance is futile. Reyes' jaw set in determination. Like hell it is. All hands, battle stations. Zyrex, we need to coordinate our defenses. The next few hours were a blur of frantic activity. The Horizon and the Lumina moved in perfect sync, their crews working together as if they'd trained for years. Human officers, their newfound abilities amplifying the ship's weapons, fired salvos of energy that ripped through the Harvester fleet's outer defenses. But the enemy was relentless. For every ship they destroyed, 2 more seemed to take its place. The Harvester's technology was unlike anything they'd encountered, adapting to their attacks with terrifying speed. In the thick of the battle, Commander Harper's voice crackled over the comms. Captain, they've breached the Lumina's outer hull. They're sending boarding parties. Reyes made a split-second decision. Harper, take a team and get over there. Use whatever means necessary to repel those boarders. Kang, you're with me on the bridge. We need to find a way to turn the tide of this battle. As Harper led a group of humans and Lumina to defend against the invasion, Reyes and Kang worked feverishly to analyze the Harvester's attack patterns. The enemy's adaptability was their greatest strength, but it had to have a weakness. There, Kang exclaimed, pointing to a fluctuation in the energy readings. Their ships, they're all connected to the main vessel. It's some kind of hive mind. Reyes' eyes lit up with understanding. If we can disrupt that connection, we might be able to throw their entire fleet into disarray, Kang finished. But implementing such a plan would be easier said than done. The Harvester mothership was heavily shielded, and their own forces were stretched thin defending against the relentless assault. Meanwhile, aboard the Lumina, Harper and his team fought a desperate battle against the Harvester boarding parties. The invaders were monstrous cyborgs, their bodies a horrifying fusion of flesh and machine. They seemed to absorb energy attacks, growing stronger with each hit. Harper watched in awe as Maya Rodriguez, the young ensign who had recently discovered her abilities, stood her ground against a group of harvesters. Her hands glowed with intense energy as she erected barriers, blocking the enemy's advance and giving her teammates time to regroup. "We can't hold them off forever," Harper shouted into his comm. "Captain, please tell me you have a plan." Back on the Horizon's bridge, Reyes had come to a grim realization. Their only hope was to get close enough to the Harvester mothership to disrupt its control over the fleet, but doing so would mean sacrificing one of their ships. She shared a look with Zyrex, and in that moment, an unspoken understanding passed between them. The Lumina, already damaged from the previous battle with the Void Eater, would be their battering ram. "All hands, this is Captain Reyes," she announced, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We're initiating Operation Trojan. All personnel on the Lumina, prepare for immediate evacuation to the Horizon. We're taking the fight directly to the enemy." As the evacuation began, Reyes turned to Kang. "Lieutenant, I need you to work with Elorix. Pool your abilities. Find a way to amplify our disruptive signal. It's our only shot at ending this." Kang nodded, her face set with determination. "We won't let you down, Captain." The next few minutes were a chaotic dance of precision and desperation. The Horizon provided covering fire as the Lumina's crew was ferried across. Harper and his team were the last to leave, fighting a rearguard action against the encroaching harvesters. Finally, with everyone aboard, the Horizon took up position behind the Lumina. Reyes gave the order, and the alien ship, guided by a skeleton crew of volunteers, began its final journey. It accelerated towards the Harvester mothership, its systems overloading, pouring every ounce of energy into its shields and engines. The Harvesters, realizing too late the danger, attempted to evade. But the Lumina, piloted with skillful desperation, struck true. The impact was catastrophic, ripping a hole in the mothership's defenses. "Now, Kang," Reyes shouted. Kang and Elorix, their minds and abilities joined in perfect harmony, unleashed a pulse of energy unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It surged through the breach in the mothership's hull, disrupting the hive mind that controlled the Harvester fleet. The effect was immediate and devastating. Harvester ships began to drift aimlessly, their coordinated attack dissolving into chaos. Some collided with each other, while others simply shut down, their crews severed from the controlling intelligence. As the dust settled, an eerie silence fell over the battlefield. The remaining Harvester ships, those that could still function independently, fled into the depths of space. Rey slumped in her chair, the adrenaline of battle fading, leaving behind a bone-deep weariness. They had won, but at a terrible cost. The Lumina, their first alien allies, had sacrificed their home to save not just humanity, but perhaps the entire galaxy from the Harvester threat. As the crew of the Horizon began to assess the damage and tend to the wounded, Reyes knew that nothing would ever be the same. Humanity had been thrust onto the galactic stage in the most dramatic way possible. They had made powerful allies, awakened incredible abilities within themselves, and faced down a threat of unimaginable proportions. But as she looked out at the starfield, littered with the debris of battle, Reyes couldn't help but wonder, what other challenges awaited them in the vast, unknown reaches of space? And would their newfound powers and alliances be enough to face whatever came next? The battle was over, but Reyes knew that their journey, humanity's journey, was only just beginning. In the aftermath of the battle with the Harvesters, the Horizon drifted in space, its hull scarred but intact. The ship had become a refuge for both humans and Lumina, united in victory and loss. Captain Reyes stood in the makeshift war room, surrounded by her senior staff and the remaining Lumina leaders. "The Harvesters may be defeated for now," Xerxes said, its form shimmering with a mix of sorrow and determination. "But they will return, and they are not the only threat in this galaxy." Reyes nodded grimly. "We need to prepare, not just for our own safety, but for the sake of every species that might fall victim to forces like the Harvesters." Lieutenant Kang stepped forward, her eyes bright with an idea. "Captain, I think I might have a solution, or at least the beginning of one." All eyes turned to her as she activated a holographic display. "During the battle, when Elorix and I combined our abilities, we achieved something unprecedented. We didn't just disrupt the Harvester's hive mind, we created a new form of energy manipulation." The display showed a complex web of energy patterns, unlike anything they had seen before. Elorix's multifaceted eyes widened in understanding. "It's a fusion," the alien scientist breathed. "A perfect melding of our species' unique energy manipulation abilities." Commander Harper frowned. "That's fascinating, but how does it help us against future threats?" Kang's excitement was palpable, because this isn't just about energy manipulation, it's about synergy. What if we could replicate this on a larger scale? Combine human adaptability and our newfound powers with Lumina bioorganic technology. Reyes caught on quickly. "You're talking about creating entirely new forms of technology. Defenses, weapons, maybe even new methods of space travel." "Exactly," Kang nodded. "But it's more than that. This synergy, it's not just technological, it's biological too. Our exposure to Lumina physiology and the awakening of our latent abilities, I think we've only scratched the surface of what's possible." The implications were staggering. Reyes looked around the room, seeing the mixture of hope and apprehension on every face, human and alien alike. "This could change everything," she said softly. "Not just for us, but for the entire galaxy." Xerxes' form rippled with agreement. "Indeed, but such power will also make us a target. The Harvesters were just the beginning. There are older, more dangerous forces in the galaxy that will take notice of what we're doing here. Reyes straightened her shoulders, her decision made. Then we better make sure we're ready for them. Kang, you and Elorix will lead this research effort. Harper, I want you to work with the Lunar military advisors. We need to develop new combat strategies that utilize our combined strengths. She turned to the rest of the group. As for the rest of us, we have a lot of work to do. We need to establish a permanent base of operations, reach out to both our governments, and prepare for the changes that are coming. The next few months were a whirlwind of activity. The Horizon, along with the surviving Lumina, established a base on a nearby uninhabited planet. They named it New Dawn, a symbol of the unprecedented cooperation between their species. As news of their discoveries and the Harvester threat reached Earth, the human government scrambled to respond. Diplomatic missions were launched, alliances were formed, and a steady stream of scientists and military personnel began arriving at New Dawn. The research team, led by Kang and Elorix, made breakthrough after breakthrough. They developed new shielding technologies that could adapt to different forms of attack, weapons that could disrupt even the most advanced enemy systems, and communication devices that could transmit instantly across vast distances. But perhaps the most exciting developments were in the realm of human potential. More and more humans, upon exposure to lunar technology and energy fields, began manifesting abilities. Some could manipulate matter at a molecular level, others could perceive energy flows across vast distances, and a few even showed signs of precognitive abilities. The Lumina, for their part, found their own biology changing in subtle ways. They became more adaptable, their already impressive lifespans extending even further. The line between organic and technological was blurring in ways that neither species had thought possible. As the first year on New Dawn drew to a close, Captain Reyes, now Admiral Reyes, in command of Earth's first joint human-Lumina fleet, stood on a balcony overlooking the bustling base. Ships of both human and Lumina design darted across the sky, while on the ground, scientists and soldiers of both species worked side by side. Zurex joined her, its form glowing softly in the twilight. "We've come so far in such a short time," the alien mused. "And yet, I fear we've only just begun to face the challenges that lie ahead." Reyes nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "You're right. But whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Human and Lumina, technology and biology, matter and energy, we're breaking down the barriers between all of them. Who knows what will become?" As if in answer to her question, a brilliant light streaked across the sky, a test of their latest hybrid ship, capable of speeds that would have been unimaginable just a year ago. It was a beacon of hope, a symbol of what could be achieved when different species came together in the face of adversity. But even as they celebrated their progress in the depths of space, ancient powers were stirring. The galaxy was changing, and not everyone would welcome the rise of this new human-Lumina alliance. The true test of their newfound abilities and unity was yet to come. As night fell on New Dawn, Reyes couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the precipice of something monumental. The next chapter in their journey was about to begin, and it would reshape the galaxy in ways that none of them could possibly imagine. 5 years had passed since the establishment of New Dawn, and the galaxy had changed in ways few could have predicted. The Human-Lumina alliance had grown from a desperate partnership born of necessity into a beacon of innovation and cooperation that attracted species from across the known universe. Admiral Evelyn Reyes stood on the bridge of the Nebula, the flagship of the joint fleet. The ship was a marvel of hybrid technology, its sleek hull concealing power that rivaled that of small stars. Around her, a crew of humans and Lumina worked in perfect harmony, their minds linked by a network that blended telepathy and advanced quantum entanglement. "Admiral," Lieutenant Commander Maya Rodriguez called out, her eyes glowing faintly as she interfaced directly with the ship's sensors. "We're picking up a distress signal from the Andromeda colony." Reyes frowned. Andromeda was their furthest outpost, a bold attempt to bridge the gap between galaxies. "Put it on screen." The holographic display flickered to life, showing a haggard-looking colony leader. "This is Governor Chen of Andromeda Colony. We're under attack by something we've never seen before. Our defenses are failing. We need immediate assistance." The transmission cut out abruptly, leaving an ominous silence on the bridge. Reyes turned to her second-in-command, Zyrex, whose shimmering form seemed to pulse with concern. "Your orders, Admiral," the Luminor asked. Reyes didn't hesitate. "Set course for Andromeda, maximum speed, and send word to New Dawn. We might need reinforcements." The nebula surged forward, its hybrid engines tearing a hole in space-time itself. What would have once been a journey of years was now a matter of hours. As they approached Andromeda, the extent of the crisis became clear. A massive, writhing mass of dark energy engulfed half the colony, tendrils of void reaching out to consume everything in their path. "It's like the Void Eater," Kang murmured, her hands dancing over her console as she analyzed the phenomenon. But evolved, intelligent. Reyes felt a chill run down her spine. "Can we stop it?" Kang shook her head. "Not with our current weapons. This thing, it's adapting faster than anything we've ever seen. It's like it's learning from every attack." For a moment, despair threatened to overwhelm them. But then Rodriguez spoke up, her voice filled with determination. "What if we don't fight it? What if we try to communicate?" All eyes turned to the young officer. Reyes raised an eyebrow. "Communicate? With that?" Rodriguez nodded eagerly. "We've been so focused on developing our abilities as weapons, but what if they're meant for more? What if we could use our connection, our synergy, to reach out to this entity?" It was a radical idea, possibly suicidal, but as Reyes looked around at her crew, she saw the same spark of hope in their eyes. This was why they had come into space, not just to fight, but to understand, to connect. "All right," Reyes said, her decision made. "Let's do it. But we do this together. All of us." What followed was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The crew of the Nebula, human and Luminor alike, joined their minds and abilities into a single powerful consciousness. They reached out to the dark entity, not with weapons, but with understanding, with empathy. At first, there was only chaos, a maelstrom of alien thoughts and incomprehensible desires. But slowly, a form of communication emerged. The entity, they realized, was not malevolent. It was lonely, curious, drawn to the unique energy signature of their hybrid civilization. Hours passed as they engaged in this cosmic dialogue. The crew of the Nebula felt their understanding of the universe expand in ways they had never imagined. And the entity, in turn, began to change. Its destructive tendrils receded, reforming into structures of breathtaking beauty. As the danger passed and the Andromeda colony emerged unscathed, Reyes realized that they had just crossed a threshold. They had made contact with a form of life so alien, so advanced, that it defied classification. And they had done it not through force, but through unity and understanding. In the days that followed, news of their encounter spread rapidly. The galaxy watched in awe as the dark entity, now a willing ally, helped to usher in a new age of exploration and discovery. The barriers between energy and matter, between organic and synthetic, between one species and another, all were beginning to blur. Standing once again on the balcony at New Dawn, Reyes looked up at the stars with new eyes. Beside her, Zyrex and Kang gazed at the same vista, their forms subtly altered by years of symbiosis. "So," Kang said softly, "what's next?" Reyes smiled, feeling the weight of possibility in every word. "Everything. The whole universe is opening up to us in ways we never imagined. We've made allies of our enemies, turned threats into opportunities. Who knows what we'll discover next?" Zorix's form shimmered with what Reyes had come to recognize as joy. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together. Not as humans, not as Lumina, but as something new, something more." As if in response to their words, a brilliant light streaked across the sky, another hybrid ship, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. But now Reyes knew it wasn't just about going faster or farther. It was about reaching out, connecting, understanding. The universe, vast and mysterious as it was, suddenly felt a little less lonely. And as the first stars of evening began to twinkle in the darkening sky, Reyes felt a profound sense of hope. Whatever challenges lay ahead, whatever wonders waited to be discovered, they would face them united. Human and Lunina, flesh and energy, all part of a greater whole. The new era had begun, and the possibilities were endless.